This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rule. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, officials say 2015 is shaping up to be an era for growth and development here on Grand Bahama Island. Tonight, the man at the helm of the business community says, despite the introduction of a new tax, the island will continue on a path to economic recovery. John Davis Rule has our top story.
Grand Bahama be bracing itself for a watershed year, or boom or bust?
I believe that this is going to be a watershed year for Grand Bahama. All of the stars are aligned to say we go boom or we go bust this year. And it's really all dependent on us, the residents, the businesses operating here in Grand Bahama. If we go bust, that would be a crying shame, because here it is, we're sitting on a jewel in terms of the superior infrastructural development, the logistics that we have here in Grand Bahama in terms of the container port, the airport, the harbor. And so we now have to put our collective minds and thoughts and ideas into action to ensure that all of the decision makers, namely the Port Authority, the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, do the right thing.
Doing the right thing, according to the president of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Kevin Seymour, is the government agreeing to extend the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, a portion of which expires in August of this year. He says the government's failure to do so could prove detrimental to this island's already battered economy.
I certainly believe, Joan, that the possibility exists that if any additional burden is heaped on an already stressed out business community, you can have casualties such as that. It is my hope that that does not materialize. But let's be honest, I mean, most people are in a business to make a profit, and if they aren't making a profit, or if the situation deteriorates, then they have to make a business decision as to whether or not they continue on with their business.
The introduction of the controversial VAT not sitting well with many, consumers are upset over the fact that with VAT has come higher prices. Seymour says with every action, there's a reaction.
If the government is now heaping VAT at 7.5% on top of that, you can't say that, and be fair to the businessman, that you have to keep your price constant, take on the VAT, which is something you're collecting on the behalf of the government, and your costs went up, but we aren't going to allow you to increase your costs. That'll be unfair. I mean, if you think about it realistically, that's unfair.
The chamber president says while he firmly believes that Grand Bahama's economy is on the upswing, true empowerment of Bahamians, he says, must be given a priority. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Joan Davis Roll.
Well, the Ministry of Finance and the VAT Department noting that VAT is not to blame for exorbitant price increases. VAT officials say some businesses have made efforts to comply. However, in some other cases, progress has been insufficient. Businesses are cautioned that where product labels have not been changed to show VAT-inclusive pricing, customers must still see visible signage that the tax is being added to final prices, or they must see general signage next to items that disclose the final tax inclusive price. Now, the VAT department has brought this issue to the attention of some registrants, and later this month, these warnings will be replaced by administrative fines. Officials say consumers are entitled to a refund if the amount identified as tax or VAT exceeds 7.5%. In other news, Grand Bahama has recorded its first homicide for the year as the young man who was stabbed in Coral Gardens yesterday afternoon succumbed to his injuries this morning in hospital. The victim has been identified as 28-year-old Kevin Harvey. Assistant Commissioner of Police for the Northern Bahamas, Emric Seymour, says the investigation is ongoing and police have had success so far.
Incident that happened yesterday. Where a young man was stabbed about the body. Okay, unfortunately, he died this morning, and so yeah, he would have died this morning. We have about 5 people in custody in connection with that particular matter. So we feel pretty good that we can definitely have that. Well, that matter should be wrapped up in very, very short order.
Now, according to our records, Harvey was one of several men charged with the December 2006 murder of Philip Gator Jr. Following the initial trial, Harvey was sentenced to 3 years each on charges of extortion and kidnapping. In the meantime, police are still asking the public with any information pertaining to Harvey's murder to contact 911 or 919 as soon as possible. And the death of that 20-year-old woman in 8 Mile Walk, yesterday is being classified as a sudden death at this time. But officer in charge of Grand Bahama, Emery Seymour, says an investigation is underway into this matter.
One of the things we say sudden death because we need to make sure that all of the investigative protocols have been completed. Okay, once that happens, then of course we'll classify that particular. That's why we just say sudden death. Okay, the possibility still exists that it is, but we don't want to say that yet because we haven't yet completed the investigation. Yeah, but very shortly we'll come back and of course give that a classification.
Now, the young woman's lifeless body was found in her bedroom at her home in Jonestown 8 Mile Walk around 11:40 yesterday morning. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The U.S. state of Florida has been given the green light for same-sex marriages. And with Florida just a short distance away from the Bahamas, many are questioning if this could have some type of influence here at home. Well, we spoke with a local Christian leader about this issue. Television viewers have been bombarded with the headline story of the legalization of same-sex marriage in Florida. Many believe that with this new law right next door, the discussion is now completely open to Bahamians as to how or if this will affect the Bahamas. Pastor of Life Community Church, Cedric Beckles, says he believes that the government has already been confronted with this issue.
I find it difficult to believe that they're not confronted with it because it's a world issue. It's an issue that is dominating the globe. And so why would our nation be the only nation that's not being pressured through the associations and organizations of the world that we belong to?
Pastor Beckles says this will be a public challenge.
It's already a challenge, and I believe that our government is challenged with it, both from within our own country and from within the world community in which we sit in.
The local clergyman believes such a law is not in the best interest of mankind.
Of course, the question then asks, who are we to determine what's best for mankind? Well, for us as believers, we have an absolute, and for us, the Bible is the absolute. And all we're simply saying is, if we are going to be loyal to the God that we serve, loyal to God as our King, our Savior, we cannot promote anything other than what He says in His Word.
A local leader of the LGBT here in the Bahamas has gone on record to say that in the next few years, she believes it may be possible for people to flock to Florida to get married. But Beckles makes it clear that such a union would mean nothing in the Bahamas.
According to the current laws of this country, two same-sex persons are not even considered to be married in this country legally. So I understand what they're doing, but it doesn't change anything. What are you going to benefit by saying now we're married? Where?
Beckles has spent a lot of time researching same-sex marriage and says it is totally contrary to order. But while he stands firm in his belief, he says bashing the gay community is wrong.
I do believe, though, that we should have the freedom to speak where we stand without belittling, degrading persons who have chosen that lifestyle. But based on who we honor, that's the Lord Jesus, we cannot endorse that lifestyle.
He's leaving this message with persons who find themselves struggling with this issue.
Those persons who may be in that lifestyle, as I reiterated earlier, I am anti-bashing them. They need to, and there are many who want out, and I want them to know there is a way out. And God can bring transformation to their minds, their souls, and their spirits, and He can set them free.
This coming Monday will be observed as the majority rule holiday throughout the country. Here on Grand Bahama, a special committee has been formed to recognize the men and women who were involved in the struggle that led to majority rule in 1967. Yesterday, some of the heroes and heroines took part in a press conference at the Ministry of Grand Bahama. Their minister for Grand Bahama applauded them for their efforts and called on Bahamians to appreciate the significance of majority rule.
As we are about to celebrate Majority Rule holiday, we must use this precious moment in our history to remember those men and women who have fought against injustices and for equality for all Bahamians. Over the next few days, as we pause to reflect where we have come from as a people and to observe the importance of this movement in our history, we must first and foremost give God thanks for His goodness and mercies. Secondly, honor those on whose shoulder we stand today. And thirdly, make a commitment to unite as a people, irrespective of our differences.
Well, Chairman of the committee, Dr. Cecil Thompson, says a special march and parade is planned for Monday downtown Freeport. He says it is all in honor of this important day in history.
Some of the best performances from National Arts Festival, they will perform for you there. And then we'll roll into some cultural things. We'll be honoring the Bahamas Brass Band. Yeah. They're in the midst of celebrating 90 years, their 90th anniversary, headed by Reverend Barry Morris. And then you have the other band performances, and you have some other performances. And so we, as the minister said, inviting all Grand Bahamians, visitors and everybody alike, to let's celebrate this very special day.
Well, the parade gets underway at 11 on Monday morning. In other news, residents of a subdivision in East Lucaya teaming up to form a crime watch group. These concerned residents say it is a proactive approach to ensure that this area remains safe. Here's Megan Shepard with this report.
The residents in Lincoln Park No. 2 have come together to form a crime watch group thanks to the assistance of the Urban Renewal Police Division and the Living Water Assembly. Superintendent Noel Curry says that groups such as these play a vital role in combating crime.
It has worked for us in the past. It has paid huge dividends, and we're looking at it again in 2015 and beyond. As a marker for us, when you speak to the policing priority, safety and security of the public, number 4, we want to make sure that members of our community, wherever they live throughout the Bahamas, are safe. Our charge here is in the Eastern Division, Grand Bahama, and Lincoln Park falls squarely in that parameter. So we want to work very closely with the community here. We also want to look at establishing additional crime watch groups throughout this island.
Chairman of the Lincoln Green Community Watch, Ellsworth Ware, says the group has been established since June of last year and is continuing to make positive strides throughout the community. He says while they've had no major problems, the objective right now is crime prevention.
We're at the point where we have a WhatsApp group established for the neighborhood, and it's very active. So people see any strange cars coming through, they tend to take a picture of the car, especially with emphasis on catching the license plate, just in case if something happens, they can refer back to that. I have kind of shied away from calling it a crime watch because for many of us it's more than that. So I like to say neighborhood watch. We look out for each other, and if someone in the area is sick, we all get together, lift them up in prayer. Support in any way we can. If someone goes away, we make sure that we keep an eye out on their house.
Pastor Eddie Victor assisted in forming the group and says the group has developed into a family.
They're working together to watch out for each other and to watch out for the community as far as crime is concerned. But the other thing that has happened, which is truly amazing, is that the community, the people in this community, they have become closer together.
Coordinator of the Urban Renewal Police Department, Superintendent Henry Roll, says safe communities remain a top priority and other communities should step up and do their part.
They can speak to the divisional commanders in the various divisions. They have my contact. I'm also involved with an office space in the Social Services Department in the National Insurance Building, and they can reach me there. My telephone number is 376-5278. That's my cell number, and they can call me if they need to speak to me in terms of formulating any crime watch group in any particular area.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Students of Lewis Yard Primary School could soon have their very own band, thanks to the generosity of the area Member of Parliament. Kimberly Mullings has the story tonight.
As a young boy, I wanted to play the saxophone. My parents couldn't afford it. And so, not that God has blessed me, I feel that I need to pass that blessing on.
Central Grand Bahama MP Nico Grant donating 19 music instruments to Lewis Yard Primary School during a special assembly Wednesday morning. MP Grant says this act is a part of his music ministry on Grand Bahama Island, something he's been doing for the past 18 years.
Lewis Yard Primary has become a part of my constituency, and the other two schools, St. George's, Sister Mary Patricia, they both have music labs, and so I thought it was important that Lewis Yard establish a music lab as well. It keeps them off the street, it provides wholesome recreation, and I still look forward to live music returning to our hotels. And so if the kids learn music at this early age, they'd be able to hopefully get jobs in the hotels and other places where Bahamian music is played.
Principal Sandrea Bullard says these instruments came just after the students received a music teacher and are just in time for Junior Junkanoo.
Our kids are so musically inclined. Before we had a music teacher, I recall walking past classes during devotion time. The voices I heard were melodious. And so last year, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to pull the teacher out of the classroom to become our music teacher, who was doing a fabulous job last year. So now she can really work with them and help them to develop the skills more. And then God sends an angel.
Music teacher Stephanie Woodside is excited because she can live out her dreams with the help of the Lewis Yard Primary students using these instruments.
I am elated because my dream was to start a band at the school. I'm going to do the best that I could to get the children to the level where they could perform publicly. With assistance, I'm going to take them to a level that they have never been to before and that they have never imagined.
The students and staff members thanked the Central GBMP with a gift and a song. The donation included 10 trumpets, 2 snare drums, a bass drum, 3 keyboards and 3 benches, 3 stands, 2 trombones, and a tuba. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
A man who knows nothing about music and everything about sports is up next. Stay with us.
Hey everybody, it's Sports Time. I'm Ricardo Lightborn, and it's Justina Virgil and Wendy T. Roker Day. And don't you folks forget it, okay? Way to go, guys. I want to say congratulations to you. Well, the Tennessee Titans linebacker is on the island. His name is Quentin Groves, and he will be here for the next couple days. Well, you know what? Megan Shepard loves a football player. Couldn't turn this one down.
Linebacker for the Tennessee Titans, Quentin Groves on Grand Bahama for the next 4 days. Groves attended Auburn University with Olympic gold medalist Donald Thomas, and the two have remained friends over the years. Thomas says it's important for him to promote his home country.
Oh, that's just like my brother. That's my brother. So we went to college together, and they just finished with their season. So he just came to Bahamas to check out Bahamas for the first time, and that's what it is. I mean, it's my home city, so. And like I say, that's my brother, so I want him to experience the islands and come to my hometown and experience how we live over here.
This is Groves' first time to Grand Bahama, and he says he's already received a very warm welcome.
Thanks everybody for such a warm welcome to the islands. You know, everybody say they're most hospitable in the islands, so I thank them for the hospitality. I've heard the Bahamas has some of the best conch in the world, so I'm interested to try that out as well as meet some of the people.
Groves, who recently wrapped up his 2014 season, says although his team did not do as well as he'd liked, he's still pleased with his personal performances.
Personally, I had a pretty good season. My team, we didn't have a great season overall, but at the end of the day, anytime you make it out of the NFL healthy, you know, it's a blessing from the Most High, so I thank him for that.
Not only is Groves putting out his best work on the field, but he's also founded a foundation that is helping to make a difference in the lives of young people.
My foundation is called Quest for Greatness. We do things such as give scholarships to at-risk minority kids in inner city Greenville, Mississippi, where I'm from. I have a movement now called I Am Greenville. It's an initiative to get kids about being happy about where they're from, of my hometown of Greenville, Mississippi, and it's just spreading the word of positivity throughout our community and getting our minority community back where it belongs at the top.
This weekend, an international rap artist will be on Grand Bahama, and Groves is expected to be the host. He says he's hoping all of Grand Bahama will be in attendance.
I appreciate you, Freeport, for having me. See you guys Saturday at DJ Donald's event, Rich Homie Quan.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Total Sports.
Well, folks, let me tell you it's official. Megan took the Miami Dolphin jersey and threw that bugger away. She ain't want that no more. Tennessee is it. The Royal Oasis Hotel, folks, is simply a place that used to be kind of for sore eyes. But guess what? The rear of that property, there's much going on, and you can find out anytime you wish. The Royal Oasis Country Club tennis courts is back in a big way. What was once just dead is now actively alive and well. Coach Green is on the court and continues to make inroads. The facial expression of the junior player says it best, enjoyment. Sharon Ducey Green is back from Abaco and working hard to make a difference for the young people of Grand Bahama.
When I first looked at this facility coming back from Abaco, it was not easy. It was not an easy decision because it was a lot of work to get it to actually where it is now. But fortunately, my daughter said to me to look at the bigger picture. And that is what I did. And my main objective is I know how important tennis is in the development of our youth. And it is a big risk. But as a teacher, my main priority is working with children.
The game of tennis has many benefits, especially for young players. The availability of the country club courts now means success for many of our children. Sharon has the right approach to harnessing their tennis talent. The government schools is where the real hotshots are, so go get them.
We are in some of the preschools because we start at 3 years old doing the tennis program. And one of my main objectives this year is to try to get at least 400 children exposed to tennis. And the only way of doing it, I feel, is actually getting the program into the schools. I've spoken to Freeport Primary, and I'm looking at going after more of the government schools. And of course, in order for that to happen, we're looking for sponsorship as well.
Tennis Unlimited is that and more. Finding and harnessing unlimited tennis talent here on Grand Bahama. And also, I tell you that Taylor University is here for 2 weeks, folks. They're also going to be having a softball clinic for our junior players up at the GB Sports Complex. That's in the afternoons at 5:30. Guys, go out there, take full advantage of it. And to the executive management of BTC, Grand Bahama and Ade Bahamian, thanks you very much for taking the bull by the horn in 2015. Y'all ain't joking. That's all you got to do and make it happen so that we can all say BTC, that's done it again. That's it, folks.